The great guardian god gave us the power, immortality. It is granted to a chosen few. It gives strength, shows the way. But with power comes responsibility. Aelion is a precious gift that must be protected from enemies. The great god disappeared, and hordes of invaders from other worlds came to take our home and our freedom. We won't let them. The people of Aelion believe in their heroes, and we will fight to the death. Rising again and again, we will turn the invaders' technologies and magic against them. And the hour will arrive when one of the immortals will become powerful enough to lead the entire planet, crush our enemies, and bring peace to Aelion.
Hello and welcome to a new video which I decided to upload into my channel is about Skyforge. So Skyforge is I guess you can say it's a new free-to-play action RPG in the PlayStation Store. Now I am basically displaying it on the PlayStation Store. I know it's probably been out for a while on the PC, as PC gamers are always ahead of the console versions of basically everything. But as a console gamer myself, I basically, this is the first time we actually got this game, and it only first basically came out, and I decided to, you know what, let's might as well record this the first image, or shall we say gameplay that I play when I first got the game. Now, I'm basically recording over whatever I have already recorded while I was playing. I already played. This is basically the intro or the prologue of basically how you get to where you get, basically. And yeah, so Skyforge is a new free-to-play game, and it's I can actually see that it's looking to be very promising, although I have not reached to the point in the game where I can say for certain that it's like an absolute must. But seeing as it's a free-to-play, even if it's not worth your time, you can play it for free just to see if it appeals to your game style. And it actually definitely is promising to the way it is. Now you can actually see me here I'm actually in the character creation, which is an interesting thing. You can pretty much create, so as far as creating characters, so far as I can tell, you can only create humanoid characters, or characters that look human, and the customization is decent enough. I mean, I have to admit the character models are very decent enough, and they offer enough variety to meet, I guess, a certain customizing pleasure or whatever, and basically it's satisfying enough, and it's always nice. What people really love the most when they create characters, I don't know about you, I know about me, that I love creating characters. Now there is a downside to that, is that you can only create one character, and while every class in the game, there are classes like the paladin, like the spellcasters, the range fighters, and so forth, and actually, instead of choosing your class like most action RPGs, you can actually choose all the classes on the get-go. You can pretty much switch you can pretty much switch between them as you're playing, literally as you're playing. You cannot switch them in combat, although I have heard that you can do that at some point, which is interesting because you can literally switch into whatever class you want on the fly or on the get-go, which is an interesting thing. Um, it's also, however, on top of that, not on top of that, on the side note, however, is that you can only basically create one character. You can only create one character that you have. You can't create multiple characters. So say, for example, if you wanted to create one character who was a male who was going to be like your melee fighter, and then create a female character who's going to be your ranged fighter, like myself, I would love that. Yeah, you can't. You can only create one character at a time, and although you can along the lines change the gender and redesign your character by talking to someone to change their appearance, the first time it's free, but the second time you have to pay. Now, I did try that because I wanted to, I created firstly a male character, and I wanted to test a female character as well, what I could do. And yeah, changing again requires a resource that I believe is the resource you gain by money, like real money, I imagine. Unless there is a way to get it otherwise, I should imagine maybe there are what you would call login rewards. Like every time you log in, you acquire a reward, similar to Paragon. In fact, you can actually the game really looks kind of like Paragon. It looks very effectively, like it looks gorgeous. I'll say it plain, it looks amazing, and it appeals to my eye as far as graphics go, and the character models are fine, I guess you can say, to a certain, I mean it's fine. So as far as visuals go, it looks nice. The audio does tend to a little glitch every now and then, and I don't know, it's probably just me, probably. I do know that some of the audio comes out from the controller instead of the actual earrings, earplugs, headphones. Like if you're using headphones, then some of the voices will come out of the controller and you can't really hear them, or you can't hear them as well, or at all, depending on how loud you have the volume. I haven't seen or found any way to change that, even though I have been browsing somewhat, and it's unfortunate. But anyways, yeah. So as far as the character creations, yeah, you have to log in and acquire enough payment to change your character if you feel like changing them. But hey, what to do? I have noticed that there is also ways to basically customize your clothes and stuff, your appearance. You get some different clothing on you, and obviously I don't know if you can buy some clothes in like a market or something. I mean, it would make sense that you could, along the lines. But yeah, it's that's pretty much what it has to offer as far as creating characters. I guess the good side and the downside. Now, as far as gameplay, the game really reminds me. I can't help but create like similarities to other games, and I have to admit, excuse me, I can't help but make those comparisons. The game does. It basically has the appearance of the Paragon game, another free-to-play game. It's an MOBA on the PlayStation 4 and pretty much everywhere, but like I said, I am a console gamer. But it has the appearance of that, so basically take the visual appearance of Paragon. The type of gameplay, like its game style, is basically your typical action RPG, very effective. Kind of like Neverwinter. So if you're familiar with the free-to-play RPG, which is Neverwinter, then you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. And I can't help but feel it also has a Final Fantasy vibe into it. The way that it's a mix of magic and technology. It's science meets sorcery. So if you're into that kind of thing, then yeah, you'll find this game quite appealing. Yeah, I found that the game is actually it's actually quite fun to play. Yeah, you can also play. It's an it's an MMO, so you can actually play it with multiplayer. It also offers the feature to play in single player, although I don't know if you can actually play. I'm not sure if you can actually play like offline. I don't know. I haven't tested.
We're heading
We have
for
a cutscene
Ionel.
here. I do have subtitles on. I mean, they were on to begin with, but yeah, if you want to read them, feel free to go so. Now, if you want to try for the game for yourself and just go into the story itself, I don't know what the story has to offer. It's very, like, simple, and the story itself and how it's built, like the way things are happening and the way you build up as a character, kind of reminds me of, what's it called? Uh, what was the, Rise of the Guardians, I think, or something. I forgot that movie. It's basically like, I think it's a DreamWorks movie. It's with what's his name? What is his name? I completely forgot the movie. I really like the movie. It's about the Guardians fighting the Boogeyman or something like that. Pitch Black, and the protagonist is what was his name? I forgot his name. I actually forgot his name. My mind is literally stumped as to his name. I think it's Frost something. But yeah, it's basically the same principle as far as the games and how the world works, for some way. But enough of that. You'll actually see the game looks amazing. I can easily. It kind of reminds me of like Final Fantasy meets, and you can actually see that lighting. That was an excellent, like very interesting lighting effects. Well, I say that, I mean, I don't know about everything else, but, you know, as far as the lighting goes, it's actually very interesting. Like, graphically, it looks phenomenal. Now, the battle style you actually see, you basically press a button and you tap it. It actually kind of plays out like The Witcher. Literally, you just mash the square button if you're a melee fighter and attack. And, yeah, it's a very interesting system, as it actually offers a bit more action to it than Neverwinter. Unlike Neverwinter, where it's a bit more, you know, it's different. It's more like when you're playing Neverwinter, it's more like you're playing Paragon. It's like you're playing an MOBA basically. But here you're actually playing an action adventure game or RPG. And yeah, I basically captured the first beginning, like literally the prologue. In this part you have no class. You're just a regular soldier going out to do whatever, to do the mission. And yeah, this is just the prologue to get you into the basics of the game. After that is where you get to choose your classes and you become who you're destined to be, and you start making progress. Now I am making progress with a character, and unlike Neverwinter, I can't, like I said, I can make multiple characters. So if I record or make another video again, it'll be with the progress that I already have. And I do play a little bit every now and then. Right now, another free-to-play game is taking most of my attention. If you have known me before, then feel free to guess what that game is. But yeah, I do love what this game is setting up to be, and I am curious to see what it would be like to play with other people. I would like to. It's an interesting game. I have to admit it. It's definitely showing promising. Now, obviously, I'm pretty sure it's going to have its bugs and glitches every now and then. But yeah, I think I'm liking it as far as right now. Now, as far as to what it has to offer as you progress and make enormous amounts of progress, that's up to the game itself. And this is just released on the PS4, so I imagine they're gonna be adding patches and updates. And don't forget that this is actually a free-to-play game. Now you're actually seeing me fighting somewhat of a boss, and yeah, it's kind of like that. For some reason, I can't help but play the game as if it were like a Dark Souls game. Like I expect to die with every hit, so I try to dodge even though I'm kind of failing horribly. But the button mashing and the attacks, playing the game like The Witcher, for example, it's kind of like I don't know. It feels like it kind of feels like a Diablo game where you're basically a badass, killing everything on sight and just going for it. Yeah, dude, it's dead. Why don't you try stabbing it? It's definitely dead. So yeah. So like I said, this is just a prologue. It is basically just the beginning, getting into the character of the story. It all probably ends up the same. But yeah, it's kind of an interesting game, and I look forward to sharing some more of it if you're interested. And yeah, so basically I'll leave this for the comments, and yeah, you can just finish watching the next scene, which with it being the ending of the episode, where, like I said, I'm just recording. This is just footage of the prologue, and what the hell are these guys up to? Anyways, so yeah, and yeah, I thank you for watching. I hope you are interested in this game as much as I am. It definitely looks promising. I hope I hope it becomes good. I hope it's less about, you know, acquiring the good stuff with real money, and more about being able to grind and actually get everything in the game, similar to other games that I know. And I'm really I'm really hoping for that. So yeah, thank you for watching once more, and I hope I get to see you in my next video. So stay cool, and I'll see you all later.